I faced bombs in Iraq, defended my country, saved lives, but the ones who nearly destroyed me were my wife and my brother-in-law. That afternoon, she was moaning his name in my bed. They were laughing, sweating, staring at photos of me in uniform. My name is Patrick, Major Patrick, 50 years old. And today, you're going to hear the story of the lowest betrayal a man can endure. If you've ever been stabbed in the back by someone who said they loved you, write in the comments, "Traitors, get out." I remember it like it was yesterday. The house was quiet, that kind of silence before war breaks out. I had come home early from the base, mission aborted. All I wanted was to see my wife. I walked in slowly, key turning in the lock just like always. But when I opened the bedroom door, it felt like a blade went through my chest. It was her, half covered, sweating, hair tied in a messy bun, the same one she wore on our wedding day. And the man on top of her was her brother, my brother-in-law. He looked at me, naked, no remorse. She tried to cover her chest with her hand, but it was too late. She stared at me and laughed. She laughed and said, "You better get used to it, Major." My body froze, but my mind, it went into combat mode. Adrenaline, rage, disgust, all at once. They didn't rush. The crumpled sheets revealed more than they hid, and every detail was a grenade thrown at the story we built together. The room we designed, the wardrobe I assembled with my own hands, now wide open with his clothes mixed in with hers. My wedding ring on the nightstand, next to a used condom. My military photo, on the floor, stepped on. She stood up, naked, walked toward me, slowly, like nothing was wrong. "You disappear so much, Patrick. What did you expect?" She touched my face and whispered, "Now you know where the real danger is." That night I thought about my job, about my daughter, about what would happen if I executed the enemy. No, I wouldn't give them that satisfaction, but I also wouldn't accept the humiliation. I grabbed his clothes, tore them apart with my own hands, dragged him out, naked, at 10 p.m. She tried to say something, but my reaction scared her. She knew the husband, not the soldier. Or maybe she just didn't want the neighbors to notice. I locked myself in the bedroom, didn't sleep. I did what I was trained to do: observe, plan, neutralize. The next morning I got in my car and drove straight to base, requested an indefinite leave. They thought it was emotional collapse, but it wasn't. It was focus, cold, surgical, deadly. I installed cameras, trackers, remote access to their devices. Even the dog got a new collar with a hidden mic. I studied their patterns, their routines, the excuses, the holes in their lies. I discovered that bastard used my car while I was deployed, slept in my bed, ate food I paid for, laughed with her on my couch. But now the upper hand was mine. Every step they took, I tracked from afar. Every laugh was more evidence for my war file, and the more I saw, the more I planned. Not just revenge, but a full-scale emotional war operation. Because they destroyed what I held most sacred. I didn't just want them to pay. I wanted every step of my revenge to feel like a funeral march. For every moment of pleasure they stole in my absence, a psychological strike. For every laugh on my couch, public humiliation. For every night in my bed, one less day of peace. I had survived ambushes in the desert. I'd seen men explode next to tanks. But nothing, absolutely nothing, prepared me to see the woman I vowed to protect give her body and her dignity to her own brother. I wanted to understand why, but I realized something far more important. They didn't deserve explanations. They deserved consequences. So I grabbed my old leather field notebook, the one I carried on missions, and started writing. Times, codes, the words she whispered on the phone, the names they called each other, like teenage lovers hiding sin. But this time I was the spy. I downloaded all the camera footage, encrypted the files, stored them on 4 different USB drives, hidden in separate parts of the house. Even her friends became part of the operation. Every emoji, every laugh on WhatsApp, ammunition. I slept 3 hours a night. The rest, I listened to recordings, her moans, with him. And I asked myself how many years I'd been blind. Every whisper was a punch to the gut. I remember that night. She said she was going to visit her mother. 15 minutes later, the gate camera caught her arriving at her brother's place with a cheap bottle of wine and a filthy smile. I watched it all, remotely. While they toasted with glasses I paid for, I crafted the speech she'd hear in front of everyone. Each word would cut deeper than any explosive. They joked about me, about how much time I spent serving the country. She laughed when he asked if I still worked as a man. I froze the video right there, let it play in a 4-minute loop in the middle of our daughter's birthday slideshow. This wasn't just betrayal, it was dishonor. And any man who serves knows what that word means. They thought they were dealing with an ordinary husband. They forgot that behind the uniform was a strategist trained to win wars without lifting a finger. In the following weeks, I began leaving clues. Perfumes vanished from the bathroom. A lacy piece of lingerie mysteriously ended up in the trash. She started getting scared of my silence. That's exactly what I wanted, to plant paranoia. And when I saw that fear in her eyes, I knew execution day was near. It wasn't enough to expose them. They had to feel it, from the inside out. Shame like a cancer. This was an operation, and I was the commander. Now, I was going to show them what a man trained for war does when you touch his honor. And they had no idea what war really meant. I waited for the perfect day, our daughter's birthday. The house packed, family everywhere, my in-laws, my parents, her friends, everyone smiling, thinking we were a happy family, and her dressed in white like some kind of saint, smiling as if she wasn't carrying the weight of the world's shame on her back. I waited. The birthday song, the hugs. She bent down to tie our daughter's shoe, and that's when I turned on the TV. Instead of cartoons, the screen showed the first image, her, in our bed. Him, wearing one of my t-shirts. Caption: while Daddy defended the country, Mommy stained the uniform. Silence, absolute. The cake spoon hit the plate. Her mother fainted. She jumped up, screaming, tried to rip the cables out, tried to explain. But it was too late. Everything was backed up and running on autoplay. The projector on the ceiling lit up. Audios, laughter, moans. The brother-in-law. He stood there, pale, surrounded by everyone. And it was right there in front of her daughter, her parents, her friends, that she lost the one thing she will never regain: respect. And me? I stood still, in uniform, impeccable, like a major. Because honor, my friends, you don't beg for it, you impose it. The shame and disbelief on her parents' faces were heartbreaking. Their daughter and son, together. The family name forever stained. They begged me to turn the video off. But that day, I simply executed the mission. Today, I truly feel sorry for her parents. And every time they visit my daughter, they still apologize to me. She left the house that same day. with nothing but a small bag, no expensive clothes, no jewelry I brought back from overseas. She left with shame and with the silence that will never leave her chest. My brother-in-law lost his job. His boss saw the video, lost his dignity, and from what I've heard, even lost his car, which was repossessed to pay his legal fees. Our daughter, she knows her father came back, and her mother made a choice. She made her own choice too. And today we're happy, despite the scars. As for me, I moved on, with wounds no one can see, because betrayal doesn't just remove a ring from your finger, it's a grenade, and nothing is left whole afterward. But I learned something. When a man loses everything, including his innocence, he becomes dangerous, because there's nothing stronger than someone who was broken and rebuilt every piece with hatred and precision. Today I no longer have the same family, but I have my daughter. I have peace, and peace is what every soldier dreams of when they return from war. If you've ever been betrayed by someone who swore to protect you, type in the comments, "They didn't know the art of war," because that sentence now belongs to us.